Alright, it's been a little bit since I've actually done an update at all on the house. We're getting fairly close. This doesn't really look like it. This is just the master bath. This particular video I'm going to make about tile and some of the things I've learned. There are two places left that I have to do tile. This is one of them, the laundry room's the other. This place, the master bath, I'm going to use these tiles that are 6 by 24. Kind of give you that distressed gray wood look. So they'll go in there and I'll run them this way. The tile for the laundry room is going to be these 18 by 18s that are kind of a light gray concrete looking type. They're basically 78 a square foot at Home Depot. Real cheap tile, perfect for a laundry room. When it comes to tile, they always say that success, 90% of your success in a tile job is preparation. So yeah, I stripped out all the flooring in here, 1/2 inch of plywood to replace what I'd taken out, put another 1/4 inch of hardy backer on top, and you can see I've got the grid tape. Now I'm sure a tile setter who really knows what he's doing is going to tell me exactly why I'm wrong doing what I'm doing, but this is what I do. I put the grid tape down and I'm using a little bit of the subfloor adhesive to keep it in place. Definitely using subfloor adhesive down here in the corners to bridge the gap between the wall and the actual hardy backer. And the subfloor adhesive, because it's like a mastic, will stay somewhat flexible, so expansion and contraction, it shouldn't cause me too many problems. But there's a reason I want all that sealed, especially I came back here and resealed over the top of this. Again, I might be wrong, but I sealed it with painter's caulk over the top of that. I haven't actually done what I'm going to do in here, and this is a problem too. Taking off the front edge of tile so I can run my 6-inch tile up the base. Yeah, I kind of destroyed the top tiles. Cracked one, chipped another, so I took them all out. I'll run my tile up and over the bridge and then just grout it on in. But I'm going to do something about this. This is kind of, it's rotten. That's not going to last much longer. But I'm going to do something to prevent any further rot. And I don't know that I really can, because I look inside that shower pan and I'm seeing the cracks all along the base, and they obviously didn't do what we now do in the 21st century. And in the next room I'll show you what that is. So after all this hardy backer is glued and screwed down, and yeah, I know hardy backer says you're supposed to use mortar, but I'm not. I'm using subfloor adhesive and it'll be just fine. But yeah, I've got to do all the drywall in this room, and I want to do that before I put down my crack suppression barrier waterproofing. I've already done that in the laundry room. I'll show you that in just a second. I had to recenter that light. I had to move this wall basically about that much. So the wall did sit here. I shoved it back that far, and that gave me the 61 inches I need to put 2 vanities in. It only had one single vanity in a really odd shape, so now we've got it in there, just off the shelf vanities from Home Depot. I've got 2 30-inch bases, and we'll put a top on it. It'll be good to go. Got a fixture for that. Had to replace that toilet flange. Obviously all of these stub ups are done in PEX. I had the plumber do those, because when I tore into this, the main reason I actually went as far as I did up here is I found all kinds of plumbing problems, including the copper piping that was existing in this exterior wall, running all over the place, both to the toilet and to the single sink that was in an uninsulated space. So I've skipped all of that. I've insulated, re-drywalled, all of that after the plumber did his magic to bring all of this stuff back out of that wall and into the cavity. Right about here is the exterior wall of the kitchen, so the house does overhang just a little bit here, but that's nice and high in an insulated space, and I made sure I put extra insulation in there, insulated everything really well, especially around that toilet flange, so I don't want to hear toilet flushing while I'm cooking. Yeah, I just don't like the placement of that, but it'll be fine. Otherwise, I replaced that light fixture too, so. And then that same door that came out of here, I saved it. Was nice and neat with it. I'll put it right back. Put it right back in there. Same thing here, shower door, I saved it. I'll put it right back. Just got to waterproof that, fix it, retile it. Part of all that. So that's the bathroom. So that's tiling area number 1. And this one really is, I got to get the tile in, and then we can actually carpet this whole room. Now when it comes to preparation, this Red Guard waterproofing and crack prevention membrane. It's the first time I've actually used Red Guard. I've usually used Mape, which you get at Lowe's, and it's pretty good stuff. It's usually a dark aqua blue type color. A lot of pros will use Laticrete blue, but they're all basically the same kind of stuff. It comes straight out of this can, and you roll it on. interior substrate. But what I like about this, give you a little peek here, you can see that's pink. It goes on pink. Let's see how much is dry. This stuff's got some potent smell. But if this shows up on the video at all, you got some places, especially in the corners, you can see it's starting to turn red. When it's dry, it's totally red. So that's kind of how you can tell. And it usually dries in about an hour, 2 hours maybe. I laid it on pretty thick, so we're probably going to go more for 2 hours. And I just finished this up not 5 minutes ago. You can see over here, I had the electrician and plumber do all kinds of work there to modernize that whole section for the washer and dryer. Give me a nice box and drain vent. Could do gas in here if we wanted, but I'm probably just going to do electrical for the dryer. And I actually put a piece of green board there since that's a wet wall. But yeah, that's all ready to go for a washer and dryer. In this room, all I'm going to do is do the tile, probably some paint, and then later on down the road we'll play with the cabinetry and countertops and stuff. Just need a functional washer dryer in here for now. But you can see this is the part of the prep I'm talking about for tile work. And so you spend the time doing this, it gives you waterproofness, gives you crack suppression. And that's kind of what I'm worried about. What this doesn't have that a modern day washer dryer room would have, and that would have been a lot more work to get it in, is you'd probably slope it down to probably that corner and put a drain there in that floor and have that go to your main wet stack. And so that if you had a water hose or something pop, you could actually have it drain out of the room in there so it doesn't. And if this does, yeah, I've waterproofed and tubbed this whole thing, it's going to flow right out here onto my hardwood floor. So let's just cross our fingers and hope that doesn't happen. That's another reason why I had all that plumbing updated and replaced, and I'll use braided stainless steel hoses there. But for tile, you can see I'm going to go up 3 courses on the black splash here, probably stop there and stay 2 courses around the rest of the room. So where the countertop actually is at, there'll be 3 courses and just 2 courses there, 18-inch tiles. Should go nice and fast. This room isn't quite a divisible of 18, so I'll have cut tiles hidden back here. But slapping down large floor mat tiles like that, in the next section of this video, I'll show you some of the things I've learned by watching, and really by watching custom building products. Let's see, where's their little symbol? Right here, Custom Building Products. Go check out their YouTube channel for more about how this works, how to do it. I learned a lot from them about large format tiles, so I'm going to change what I did from downstairs and see if I can't do a better job up here. I mean, this floor is no more or less level than it was downstairs, so it should be just as fun. But there's some techniques I'm going to show you in a second that I've learned. So yeah, I can be taught. So you open up and you get this. It's a pink goopy type stuff that can be rolled on. Curious if it could be sprayed on. Not that I would have the equipment for that anyway. It dries to a red, and that when it turns red, you know it's ready for the next coat, or after a sufficient number of coats for tile. And me, I'm probably going to do probably 4 or 5 coats. Like I said, the plywood underneath the floor is pretty good, but the subfloor is pretty damaged, and that 2x4 sill is definitely pretty damaged. Not bad enough that I feel like tearing all that out, but enough that I'm going to slather the snot out of it with this. So yeah, just pour it into the pan, use a trashy roller. You don't want to use one of your good ones, and then just go through it all. And obviously, as with any time you're doing hardy board, you want your grid tape down. This stuff says any big expansion joints or any joints in there, treat them as normal expansion joints, because this won't bridge it, and I found that out in the laundry room, which is why in the laundry room went back with painter's caulk. Definitely came in here and did 2 stripes there over those joints at the threshold there. I may or may not have trouble with some of these gaps where I tried caulking between, I was just using straight painter's caulk, between the hardy backer and the wall. We'll see. I'll apply my first coat and go after it. May not be able to roll up the walls today because this primer is still somewhat wet, so I may just be doing first coat on the floor, and then we'll see tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, I'm taking a day off tomorrow, Monday when I come back to do more. This stuff's pretty potent. I've done probably 3 coats in the laundry room. I'll do another coat in the laundry room, and then we're probably calling it quits for the day. hardy backer will turn it dry real quick. You notice on the walls where the primer's dry enough, the primer's still holding it pink for a while, but the hardy backer's sucking the moisture right out of it and drying it right up, except for in there where you still see pink because I still had water on my roller. But otherwise, it's turning it red pretty quickly for that first coat. Because by the time I come back Monday, I'll be able to finish it out. Now I'm doing a 6-inch tile, so probably only about 2 brush widths up the wall is what I'm going to end up going. And you see some of these gaps here. I'll come back Monday and fill those in with some painter's caulk. But otherwise, you can use it, with a brush and a roller, kind of like you would rolling paint, cutting in the corners. I mean, it's like a really, really thick paint. Again, you'll find your gaps there, I guess. Now, I will put that word of caution in there. And the way I do things may not be the way a real tile setter will go about it. I know there's all kinds of other products for this. There's some joint tapes and things like that. If you're actually doing a shower pan, then there'd be a couple more things I'd be adding to this whole system. In the shower pans, you can put a tape down after the first coat, and that gives you kind of a mesh in the membrane itself, and then you put coats of membrane on top of that. Again, like I said, I've hired guys that do it the right way. I've done a lot of projects, a lot of steam rooms and showers and spas and stuff that end up doing that kind of stuff. Well, this ain't one of those. This is my house, and I'm doing the homeowner special here, I guess I'd say. But yeah, look at that. It's almost immediately drying it up. I mean, I bet, I don't want to, but I bet I could get in here and do a second coat before I leave today. Probably not going to go to. I want to make sure everything dries sufficiently, then I'll come back and do the next 3-4 coats. And I'm pretty sure you're supposed to get somewhere around a 5 or 6 mil thickness of buildup. By the time you do 4 or 5 coats of this, you probably got 7 or 8. I don't know. I'm not going to pull out the mil gauge and find out. Don't care. I've just got 2 buckets of it for the 2 rooms I'm using it on. Bathroom and a laundry room, places you expect to have a lot of water. My only hope is that I don't end up regretting not having done this in the kitchen downstairs. I was kind of under time crunch with that one, and don't know that I'm really concerned about that down there as much as I would in somewhere that's absolutely going to see the wet usage that laundry rooms and bathrooms do. So for me, laundry rooms and bathrooms, I'll absolutely take the time for this step. Slather it in nice and good. Try to be neat around the trim. I mean, yeah, the way I'm doing it, I'm not going to catch every point of possible water leaking, but I'm going to give a decent try at it. Alright, not paint myself in a corner here. Oh, let's go this way back to this wall. It looks like it didn't vacuum up all of the drywall dust, and other people might care about that. Just going to roll with it. Go around the pipes, make sure that penetration gets nice and sealed. Definitely don't want water finding its way down through there. The thing about water is it will always, always, always find a way. Any sort of crack. Any sort of penetration, so. Alright, let me put the camera down. I'm going to go do the other room. This is kind of how the red guard goes on. And like I said, 90% of a good tile job is the preparation. So next time I turn this on, I'll be actually laying down the tile. And under there is the tile that goes in here, 6 by 24. That should go pretty quickly in this space. I'm going to figure out my layout and how I want to do that, where I want to make the breaks. and measurements and everything, because I think I want a full piece here and then everything off of that and any cuts to disappear back there, so I have to make the right measurements. I'm also going to go really interesting on this and do a 1/8 inch grout joint, so a real tight grout joint. And usually I do the 3/16 big ones like I did downstairs in the fireplace and that, but this one will go real tight, so it makes it look a lot more like a wood floor in a lot of ways. Should make grouting easier too for that matter, but yeah, next time I turn this camera back on I'll be in the middle of that. So for you, a couple seconds, for me, a couple days.